They do not speak her name in Valdris anymore, not in the throne room, not in the taverns, not in the kitchens where servants once whispered it with hope. The name Kaelindra has been scraped from the records, chiseled off the stone, burned in the same pyre that took her father's body. But names have a way of persisting, in the wind, in the ash, in the cold that settles into bones and refuses to leave. She was 9 years old when she last walked the Obsidian Hall, 9 when her mother pressed a shard of the throne into her palm, still warm, still humming with the voice of the old god, and told her to run. 9 when she crossed the iron gate at midnight with nothing but that shard and the smell of smoke following her through the dark. The northern wastes do not care who your father was. They care if you can start a fire in the ash storms. They care if you can walk for 3 days without water and still stand when you arrive. They care if you can look into the eyes of a man who is killed and not flinch. The outcasts taught Kaelindra all of these things, not through kindness but through the patient brutality of survival. They had no king, these people of the waste caves, no throne, no court, no bloodline to squabble over. They had only the code they carved into the obsidian walls with their own hands. What you carry, you keep. What you drop, the ash takes. And Kaelindra carries still, the memory of a throne that whispered to her in dreams. The shard is the last piece of the Obsidian Throne outside the usurper's grasp. Her mother gave it to her not as a weapon, not as a claim, but as a warning. It remembers, she said, every king who sat upon it, every promise they made, every piece of soul they surrendered to keep their crown. And Kaelindra remembers too, not the court, not the silk and the torchlight. Those memories have faded like frost at dawn. She remembers the way her father's laughter stopped 3 months before the assassins came, the way he stared at nothing during council, his fingers tracing patterns on the armrest as if following an invisible conversation. They say the Iron Gate will open only for the true bloodline, that it reads the intent of the one who approaches, that it knows who you are before you speak. Kaelindra has stood before it 3 times in 10 years. Each time the gate remained sealed. Each time she turned back into the ash and the wind. But this is what the outcasts taught her that the court never could: patience. The mountain does not yield to the hammer. It yields to the winter that returns every year, to the water that finds the cracks and freezes and splits the stone from within. So who is Kaelindra? She is the daughter of a dead king and a queen who saw too much. She is the student of thieves and exiles and people who have forgotten their own names. She is the girl who crossed the Iron Gate in the dark and survived the northern wastes. She is the one who carries the last warm shard of a throne that wants to be whole again. And one day, when the mountain has cracked enough, she will walk through that gate. Not as a claimant, not as an heir, but as someone who has already lost everything and is no longer afraid of what the throne can take.